everyone. Here we are today at Cappella Catering speaking with the corporate chef, Bjorn. How are you today?
Good, thank you. How are you doing?
Awesome. I'm great, thank you. Thanks for having us. We can start with you just telling us a bit about yourself.
I'm the chef for Cappella Catering. I've been working with Cappella Catering for over 10 years now. I have a long career path. Started my training way back in 2018 back in India, and then worked on cruise ships in the US, Canada, Jasper Mountains, and then eventually I landed in Edmonton. I worked with Fairmont for a long time before I ended up working with Cappella Catering, and here I am for 10 years now.
Oh, wow. What inspired you to become a chef?
Well, when I was kid, my mom would make some meal that I would really like, and I would try to copy that. And then slowly, when I started growing up, I was like, I can make this better. I could try my own dishes. And then I was like, I should try this professionally. And here I am, doing it professionally now.
Oh, wow. That's amazing.
Yeah.
And you said you've worked here at Cappella for 10 years?
Yes, over 10 years.
Over 10 years.
I think almost 11 years now. I started off as the sous chef for Cappella Catering. Then I moved on to run their hotel, Matrix Hotel in downtown. So I worked there as a chef for 5-6 years before COVID. And after COVID hit, I came here, and then after COVID, ever since, it's a story after that.
What do you enjoy about working here?
It's a fun team. Working in kitchen is always fun for me. So here or anywhere else, it doesn't matter. It's still fun. The best part here is our team. We have a big team, and they are very friendly. We work as a family. A lot of our team members say we are one family, and it makes us feel like home for me, for everyone else, and it's really nice. Team is what drives me, to come here every day, smiling, make sure we're doing our good job, and I think.
You mentioned that the menu, or the style, I guess, that you've brought is kind of a bit French. Can you speak a bit about the menu and what it looks like? I know it's very vast, but...
Yeah. So, I mean, like you said, we have huge menu, but it is catered to our Canadian customers, our local Albertan customers who are like more classical. So like beef, potato, lasagna, more comfort food. So a lot more comfort food here. We have like roast chicken, roasted potatoes, chicken parm, classic pastas and stuff. Basically, mostly classical Albertan beef and potato, and a lot of other, variations. Comfort dishes, I would say, mostly.
Everything here is also made from scratch, correct?
Yes, most of the dishes we make, we try our best not to source, other than the ingredients, raw materials, not to source anything ready-made from outside. It doesn't matter what our clientele are. We feed everyone from like even Mustard Seed Elizabeth to our top most client like weddings and corporates and Amazon, whoever. We try to source the best ingredients, try to make as much as possible everything house made, like including whatever marinara sauce, meat sauce, even pastries are homemade with donuts, pretzels. As much as possible, we try our best to cook everything in house, put our love in there, and make sure the food comes out great.
You also have a smoker, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Our owner, Todd, founder and the owner of Cappella Catering. I think there's a long story behind it. He would be the best person to tell. But from what I know, he drove down to Pennsylvania or somewhere to bring the smoker here, and he drove it back himself. That's what I heard. The smoker is huge, big smoker. We at one time we smoke like 20 brisket in there.
Oh,
it's one of our best thing to brag about. We love bragging about our smoker. Anywhere we go, we talk about our smoker for sure. Our brisket is the best thing on the menu that we can have, and we are proud of it. The Montreal style smoked meat, we make in house. We are proud of it. I think we love our smoker personally, and I think everyone else out in the world love our brisket. They love our brisket.
What advice would you have for aspiring chefs?
for aspiring chef, and to be a chef is a bold step, I would say. It's a brave step to take. Uh, but if you decide, eventually, if you decide to become a chef, what I would suggest is leave your ego out. Don't bring your ego with you in the kitchen. In kitchen, we are one team. What I have learned from chefs before, one person cannot run a kitchen. I cannot run a kitchen by myself. I am what I am is because of my team. And if a new chef comes in on board, he needs to leave his ego out and work together as a team, uh, learn from the team, take whatever they can, positive, negative, and then eventually work on it and grow to become a chef one day.
What would you say is the most rewarding part of the work that you do?
Most rewarding part, I mean, a smile on the people's face when I see a feedback coming through. I take my work, very personally. I love the work I do. So any feedback that I get from a customer, from a guest, positive, I love it. It makes my day. And I try to make sure that all the reviews are positive. Well, it's difficult, right? In this world, it's hard to satisfy everyone. But if there is one or two negative feedbacks here and there, I try to work on it, make sure that what feedback I've received, I work on it and make sure it's good and I don't get that same feedback again. But yes, the positive feedback is what something I look forward to, and it makes my day. And I think everyone stay in my kitchen too.
And then last question, it doesn't have to be specific to cooking or anything like that, but what would you say is the best piece of advice you've received throughout your life?
Throughout my life, the best piece of advice: work hard. Don't wait for results. Your work, whatever you do it with passion. Don't worry about rewards. Rewards will eventually come for you. You don't run behind rewards or fame or money, but do your work as hard and as passionate you can be, and the rewards and fame and whatever will come behind you.
Perfect.
And I kind of try to follow that and don't run behind everything else. Do my work with as much passion I can.
Yeah. Great. I love that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey everyone, here we are today at Capella Catering speaking with the founder, Todd Rudder. How are you doing today?
I'm very well, thank you.
Awesome. We can start with you just telling us a bit about yourself.
Okay, so I have lived almost my entire life in Edmonton. So junior high school, I went to University of Alberta, started Capella Catering in the late 80s, or Capella itself in the late 80s. And I have 2 children, and I'm quite active with sports and running my company.
Wow. Turning to Capella, you
Right.
said you started it in the late 80s. What inspired you to create it?
So when I was going to the U of A, I worked at the room at the top bar, which is the Students' Union bar in the Students' Union building, and I really enjoyed it. It was just a fun environment to be in, and then that kind of got me into the hospitality business in terms of working in the summers and evenings. And so even though I went to university and have a degree in biology, by the time I finished university, I knew that I wanted to be in the food and beverage industry. So I went to England and I worked in bars there, and I worked in a variety of restaurants in Edmonton, all with the intent of wanting to someday open my own. So, which I did, and then kind of one thing led to the next, and then I kind of settled on catering. So first there was a pizza stand in that same bar that I worked in, and then a cafe, a Capella cafe, and then through the restaurant, my regular restaurant customers asked me for catering, to provide food for catering. And then that kind of pretty quickly, I thought that would be a direction to go rather than the restaurant business. So then we shifted to catering.
Where
in 1991
Oh,
was
okay.
that start. Yeah.
Where did the name Acapella come from? Because you kind of carried it with you the whole time.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to give you a great story, but so the bar room at the top, they had a lot of, they did a lot of live music. So music was kind of an important part of that bar. And that's where Acapella Pizza started, was in the corner of that bar. We sold pizza by the slice. And also in those days, most people won't remember, but there was a thing called the Yellow Pages.
I know those, yeah.
Okay, so, and it was alphabetical. So the trick, businesses wanted to start their name with an A so that you'd be further up in the listing. So, I mean, I know it's not romantic, but also Acapella Pizza had what I thought was a kind of a fun ring to it. So.
That's so cool.
Because I could picture myself answering the phone, hello, Acapella Pizza.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
It is catchy. I like it.
Yeah. So, and then it just kind of stuck, because then we opened the cafe, and then it was Acapella Cafe, because it made sense. And then catering was Acapella Catering. So.
How did you find the shift from going to like one location, pizza, cafe, to then turning to catering, where everything kind of goes elsewhere?
Well, as I said, so I had no intention of being in the catering business until, so the restaurant was in a commercial area. So all of our clientele was primarily a lunch venue. And also all of our clientele were corporate, and I got to know the customers, and they would say, hey, I'm having a meeting. Can we get some sandwiches or whatever? So that kind of, and very quickly, catering sales kind of outpaced restaurant sales. So then at that point, I had a friend who worked for a hotel selling catering, basically. And I approached her, and she came and joined me. And then she went around to all her clients and got them to persuade them to use Acapella. And again, this is all in a very short period of time. So within 6 months, most of our sales were catering sales. And so we basically looked for a warehouse to convert to a kitchen. And then as soon as we found one and got it set up, I closed the restaurant, and we went to catering.
Wow, and just jumped all in.
Yeah, and we actually did it overnight. Our last day of restaurant sales was June 14th, 1991, and our first day of catering sales was June 15th. And so a buddy and I all night long moved equipment into the warehouse and then started cooking the next morning.
Oh my goodness.
Anyways, that was a bad old day.
Did you anticipate ever, when you first started, maybe having this huge building now and the huge large teams that you have? And
well, I always, from the beginning, I always wanted to do better, and not necessarily get bigger, but just become a better company. And from a business standpoint, volume really is king. It's important to have a lot of volume to find a bottom line. And so certainly it was always the idea to get larger and larger. How it would end and how big it would get, I just kept kind of pursuing, or kind of shooting for the stars, and kept going, and this is where we've ended up.
What is Curbside?
Okay, so the Curbside is our food truck, which I didn't show you. It's outside now, so we can go have a look, and you guys can. So that started in 2018. So in 2016 or 2017, as you probably know, food trucks were becoming a thing, and kind of a counterculture, an interesting, trendy concept for serving people, as you know, most people do. So I thought, okay, that's something that we should do to enhance our brand. And it has to be the best food truck there ever was, and we have to come up with a completely bespoke menu for it, and really make it its own. So then myself and our sales guy and my chef at the time traveled to Portland, Oregon, which is kind of ground zero for food trucks. They had something like 1,200 licensed food trucks. It's off the charts. Anyway, so we spent a week there. We went around to as many as we could go to. We looked for ideas, took photographs, tried food, and basically pick some of our favorites. Plus, I kind of conceived of a menu that I felt would be a unique menu that would sell well in Edmonton. And on a separate trip, I went to Austin, Texas, and I was hosted by a friend of my family's, and he said, "Have you ever had Texas barbecue?" And I hadn't, and so he took me to this barbecue place, and it was kind of at the end of the day, and the only thing that they had left was brisket. So I tried it, and it changed my life. It was the most unbelievably tasty. It was mind-blowing. And I had another one. I'm like, oh my God, what is this? So when I thought, you know what, we have to do this. Our food truck has to do this. This is the thing. So then we did a deep dive into smoking. And then we found, anyways, there was this place in Oregon. We went back there. We spent 3 days with these guys who had this amazing smoke. I can't remember the name of the restaurant, but he worked with us, and we learned the whole process. We stayed up all night and did the all night, so we could learn how to do it. And then so we knew that we'd be doing big volume because we were going to incorporate smoked meat into our catering menu as well. So I knew we needed a huge smoker. So then we kind of looked around, and there's an Amish colony in Pennsylvania that makes smokers.
Oh, wow. Cool.
And there's a particular design of the smoker that we have that we really wanted because it's indirect. It's a long story about why that was the design. And they were the only guys who were making proper, well-constructed, large smokers. So then we contacted them, and they made it, and they had never imported anything into Canada. So we had to do this whole brokerage thing. And I found a guy in Montreal who went and got it. And then I had to send a guy in my truck to pull it back. It was this epic, like it took 2 months to put the whole thing together. Wow. Anyway, so now we have this smoker, and we do a tremendous amount of smoked meat. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really neat.
What a wild time. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so that became kind of the staple of Curbside. And then we also do a fish taco. And so I'd had fish tacos in Honolulu Bay in Hawaii.
Wow.
And there was the best fish taco I ever had. So I literally went there and talked to the guy. It was a place called Tropical Taco. And I kind of got to know him, and he knew I wasn't competing with him because I was in Edmonton and he's in Hawaii. So he gave me his recipe and his concepts for fish taco. And then amongst our chefs here, I also knew I wanted a grilled cheese sandwich because they were very trendy in Portland. So then we had a competition amongst our chefs, and we had a focus group, and we rated them. And so our chefs came up with some of the sides and a few of the other mains that are on the truck.
Wow.
So,
where do you hope to see Capella in, say, 5 years?
Well, I alluded to this earlier. So we are bursting at the seams here. So we have a plan to do a pretty major. We have some room out the back. You saw our back compound. So we're going to do a pretty large expansion, and we're going to create a dedicated pastry kitchen, and then another mise en place. It's a cooking term. Prep kitchen,
cool.
So that we can kind of have a more compartmentalized scenario, and then also provide a proper staff room, which that one kitchen you went to was our staff room, but we needed the space. So now when people have lunch, they have to, it's kind of, they're okay with it, but they're kind of wherever they eat at their workstations or wherever has to happen. So anyway, that's kind of a 3 year, by 3 years from now, that'll likely be complete. And then in addition, so something that we do, we've got some contracts to be in-house food and beverage providers for the Matrix Hotel, for example. We do all food and beverage there. We have an embedded staff. And then we also do some work for government departments where we have actual embedded staff at various sites. And which has been it's actually been a really good way for us to increase our volume because it doesn't put demand on this physical space.
Yes, yeah.
So we actually have satellite operations. So in 5 years from now, I would fully expect that we would have, maybe a couple more. Yeah.
That's exciting. And then we know you're busy, so last question. It doesn't have to be specific to the business or cooking or anything, but what would you say is the best piece of advice you've received throughout your life?
Well, so I thought about this question, and I've got kind of it's a reverse advice, if you'd like. So so in the early, I kind of alluded to kind of the hard years starting, and it was I mean, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It wasn't all, it was tough. I worked really hard, and there was a lot of stress and this and that, and financially it was on a razor thin edge, and I was given advice from various sources that I should close and I should give up, move on, good try, but it's probably not going to work, and you should consider winding down your business. I got that from friends, family, bankers, and so it was the best piece of advice I've ever received, because it strengthened my resolve to basically prove them all wrong.
Yeah.
So it actually made me dig in.
The best advice that you didn't listen to.
Yeah, the best, exactly.
I love it.
Yeah, it kind of inspired me to, and it did. I mean, this isn't like that really is what happened. Yeah. I said, you know what? Okay, just watch.
And now look at you.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's still, I mean, it's whatever. I mean, but it has worked out.
Yes.
Right? It's done well. We've expanded. And yeah, it's been good. So.
Great. Well, thank you so much for sitting down with us.
Cheers.
Here we are at Cappella Catering, speaking with Todd Buer, who works in sales here. How are you doing today?
I'm great, thank you. How are you?
I'm great, thank you as well.
Good.
We can start with you just telling us a bit about yourself.
Well, my name is Todd Buer. I've been with Cappella for 7 years. I started out, I did mostly sales, and now I've kind of moved a little bit into operations. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite item that
Well, I love the brisket. The brisket is our specialty. We, in fact, when I first came on board, we started getting the food truck together. We went down to Portland and we watched a bunch of food truck operators and kind of got into it. And it's a great product. It's so good.
Yeah. What do you think sets Cappella apart from other catering companies?
Probably our owners. Kim and Todd are really kind of I would view that as kind of on the cutting edge of catering. They take it very seriously. And where they're always trying new things. This company's been around for over 30 years. It's pretty special in this kind of an industry, I think, to last that long. And we've got a great chef. Brain is unbelievable. So that's our secret.
If you could put anything on the menu, is there something that you would want to add? It's kind of a fun question. So
Jeez, I don't know what I would add. We have so many different options at Cappella. There's so much to choose from. I never get sick of our food. But for me to come up with something, that's probably better left up to Todd, Kim, and Chef Brain.
Fair enough. And then last question, it doesn't have to be specific to your work or anything,
sure.
But what would you say is the best piece of advice you've received throughout your life?
The best thing I could tell somebody is to be kind. That, to me, it's one of our core values, and when we put together our core values, we all had input into it. And be kind is the most important one to me. How you treat people, how you treat staff, how you treat customers. That's the one that helps me the most.
I think that's very important.
Yep.
I agree.
Me too.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Hey everyone, here we are at Cappella Catering, speaking with the CEO and partner, Kim Mahoney. How are you doing today?
I'm well, how are you?
Awesome. I'm good, thank you. We can start with you just telling us a bit about yourself.
Okay, I'm Kim Mahoney and one of the owners here at Cappella. I'm a busy mom of 2 kids. They're sports athletes, I guess. They're lots of sports. My son is 12 and my daughter is 10. She's actually here today with us. And that's really me in a nutshell.
You started working here when? A while ago, correct?
2003. I've been here about 22 years.
22 years,
yes.
And now you are an owner
yes.
here. what did I guess your process look like? Like, how did you start, and how are you now?
I was, I guess I was in a transition in my life. I had some things happening, and I was kind of like recovering from some younger age decisions, I guess you can say. And I was living with a friend at the time that I had met through Nate, when we went to Nate together. So I was living with her, and I was working, and she came to me and was like, I need a bartender for today. And I'm like, that's nice. I literally just got home from work like 3 hours ago. Like, she's like, no, really, I need your help. I was like, okay. So I suited up, and I came here, and I had my first bartending shift just solo. Not solo, but I was with a group, but I had no training, nothing. I put on a white shirt and a tie, and that was it. I was like, okay, so that was great. And then next following week, same thing. Somebody called in sick, and she's like, I need help. I'm like, okay, let's do this again. And then she just started coming to me with shifts. She's like, I have some serving shifts for you. I have shifts for you. I was like, okay, I'm doing 2 jobs now. This is great. So then it kind of went from there. And then I evolved into working in the shop in the shipping department and putting together equipment and actually doing deliveries and driving and stuff. And there was another girl here at the time where she was like the me of that time. And so I kind of looked up to her because she was like, she knew everything and she did everything. And I was like, I can learn from her. And so my friend at the time was like, she just kept giving me some shifts. And then I was like, I think it's time to quit my job. She convinced me. So I started working here full time. And then my friend, she got pregnant and was like, I'm going to go on maternity leave. She's like, you need to take my job. So she talked to Todd, and she's like, and Aaron at the time. And it was kind of a joke between us. And I'm like, well, if I take your job, you're probably not coming back. And so it was like, she was just a running joke between her and I. And after her maternity leave, she didn't come back. She ended up going to a hotel, to the hotel industry. So I stayed where I was, and then I just progressed from there. And it was just, things just kept happening. It was like, we were doing the Stampede in Calgary, and it's like, hey, Kim, you're doing this. And Erin ended up moving on as well as she furthered her career. And so I was kind of just left here without both of them. And so it was just me and Todd. And back then we didn't have the technology we have now. So everything was still manual. So it was like early mornings, I'd be here at 5 o'clock in the morning, and piece of paper and a pen, learning the theory of how to plan everything there was for a job or for an event. So that really meant a lot to me, because it was like one-on-one training, but it was the theory. So it was everything that he had in his head. And then we kind of ran with like that for a few years, and then it was time to digitalize. And so now, like the when people join us, they don't go through that heavy theory training, because it's not necessary. It's already programmed in the computer. They pick what meal they want, and it comes with everything. There's no thinking about it. So it's, I think I got off track, but anyway, and that's just how it happened. So that it just kind of naturally progressed. Like, now you're doing this, now you're doing this, now you're doing this. And then after a few years of sweat equity, as Todd called it, I became partner with him, and here we are today. So, yeah.
What do you think sets Cappella apart from other catering companies?
Definitely, I would say our innovation. We like to be, I truly believe that we set the bar in the industry. We're always looking at food trends, not necessarily just in Edmonton, but Todd travels a lot, so he gets a perspective around the world. When my family travels, like, I try to pick up certain things that other people are doing. So I think that we're kind of leading in that area. I hope. We like to believe. Definitely our service and our quality. That's one of the things that we don't stray from. We believe in pursuing excellence, and people always say, well, how can you pursue excellence? How can you be 100%? And we believe that we can be, because we have so many procedures in place. It's almost like a science. Like, when we say like, oh, we don't really accept mistakes. Well, you can't say that, we're human. It's like, yes, but we have these procedures. And if every single procedure is followed, we are good at what we do.
Yeah.
So, and we don't waver on quality. We don't waver on service. Like those are big things. So.
With the menu that you offer here, do you have a favorite item on the menu?
The food truck items are good. I like them because they're not something that we get all the time. They're very seasonal. The chicken parm I love. That's one of the ones I like that. I bring it home a lot. The glory bowls are delicious as well.
Glory bowls?
Yeah, they're on our individual meal menu. It's
okay.
the noodles, cabbage. It's really delicious. Some raw vegetables. There's a really nice sauce that goes in with it, so I kind of like that too. The Parmesan chicken and or like her rouladen is good, and there's a few favorites, but yeah.
But everything's good. You've got to try everything. You kind of spoke a bit before about how rewarding it is to see the team and everyone like work together and having a great time. Would you say that's the most rewarding part of the work, or what would
I think so. Like when we do things like this and it just all comes together and you step back and you're just like, wow, like we did that. Like another thing, like we came out of COVID together, right? Like it was like, yeah, we did that together. We will come up and we'll have new menu items, or when we introduced the food truck, it was like, hey, we're taking this on, and everybody just rallies together and it's like, we're doing it. And that's like one of our core values actually is make it happen. And it's because of things like that where we actually make things happen. Like, yeah, it's amazing. Like I said, I can't say enough about how great our team is. Like, it's really good.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
On the other end, what is the most challenging aspect of your work?
Finding time. Excuse me. Things take time. And like when we have ideas and projects or goals or things we want to do, like, like now we're opening a mobile bar called Curbside. Yeah. So that's we're going to be unveiling that this year. And so things like that, like, and like we just introduced chai to our menu. So that's a whole new product. So we get these ideas and we're like, yeah, we're just going to do it and it's going to happen. And we're going to, I'm the type of person, I want it done now and I want it done tomorrow.
Yeah.
So it's challenging, like, because sometimes like a lot of the things take time and there's, there's things along the way that we have to work with. And so time is always a big thing. And then I think that's really about it, is just the time, and then it's not so much challenging, but it's one of the things that we always strive for is like just being innovative, right? So we're always watching for the next big thing. We're always trying to come up with something new, keep our guests engaged or our clients engaged and, wanting to come back kind of thing. So just always just keeping everybody, wanting to come back. So, yeah.
And then last question, it doesn't have to be specific to your work, but what would you say is the best piece of advice you've received throughout your life?
Oh, I wish I was one of those people where I get that advice and it just sticks with me. But over the years, I've had so many people tell me so many things. The biggest one I think that I kind of go back to now is change brings opportunity. And we learned that in COVID, and we've learned it as we go and as we kind of keep going with the market. Like the more that we change, the more opportunity we get for new things. And it happens in life just personally too. Something has to change for there to be opportunity. So I think there's that. I know a lot of women in business, and they always tell me you're never down and out. So it's like, you could get beat down and, you can struggle through things, but you're never out. So, and we've been there, and I've been there personally, and the hard times kind of shape you and make you who you are and make you stronger. And when you look back at it, it's like, oh yeah, that wasn't that bad at the time. So yeah, change bringing opportunity, you're never down and out. And then, and this is what I tell my kids, and my dad's told me all my life, is that someone's always watching. So, and that's true anywhere. Like if I didn't work as hard as I thought I was working when I was here, I might have not given the opportunity to become part owner. So I believe that, you know, like someone's always watching. They see people, you work hard, people see that. Same thing with Capella. Like we do what we can, we do our best, and people see that, right? So there's always someone watching. So I believe that to be true too.
Yeah.
So yeah, always put your best foot forward.
I like those outlooks.
Yeah.
Great. Well, thank you so much.
Perfect. Thank you.
Hey everyone, here we are at Cappella Catering, and we are speaking with Chef Bailey Grandfield. How are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. And yourself?
Awesome, I'm good, thank you. So we can start with you just telling us a bit about yourself.
Let's see. Born and raised here in the beautiful city of Edmonton. 31 years old now, and yeah.
And you're a chef here at Cappella Catering. So what got you into cooking?
Just basically all throughout most of my life since I was probably early teens, I've really had a nice passion for cooking, and yeah, being able to put smiles on people's faces, and yeah, it's key to everyone's heart is it's a good meal, and yeah, that's about it.
That's so sweet. What is the reason that you started working here specifically?
It was pretty much happenstance. My previous kitchen that I was at had closed down, and they had offered me a transfer to a different location actually, and felt I needed a change from that kind of line of work and everything, and yeah, just looked online and applied here and got hired on, and you know, rest is history basically.
How long have you been working here?
It'll be 6 years in 2 weeks.
Wow, so I'm assuming you enjoy it?
Yeah, you can definitely say I enjoy it for sure.
What do you enjoy about working here?
A thing that wasn't offered as much at other restaurants and cooking establishments is some creative freedom, I'd say. They're really, really good here about pushing more creativity, and if you have an idea for a recipe or, you know, a change that can be made that might help, you know, that can be implemented, and they're all ears about it, and it's something you don't really find in a lot of places.
Mm-hmm. And then last question, it doesn't have to be specific to your job or anything, but what would you say is the best piece of advice you've received throughout your life?
I would say it's actually just an old idiom. You catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar. So always try and be kind to people, and yeah, it'll come back to you.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Hey everyone, here we are chatting with Melissa Ostafichuk at Cappella Catering, a senior event manager. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Awesome. I'm great. Thank you. We can start with you just telling us a bit about yourself.
Sure. My name's Melissa, and I worked at Cappella for about 14 years. And so I do lots of different things here, but I'm also a mom to 2 young kids. So I have a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old. So my life's basically crazy.
Whether you're at work or at home, it's busy.
That's right. Yeah, exactly.
Here at Cappella, you've worked here for 14 years,
Yes.
you said.
Yeah.
So what is it that you enjoy about working here?
It's just so fun. Every day is something different, and it's really kind of like a family around here. I mean, we have 2 owners. We're all kind of a close-knit group, and it's a bunch of fun. And no day is the same, that's for sure. So I've done quite a few different aspects of this job. I'm like a well-rounded person. I've done, you know, operations and events, so it's quite fun. And there's always something new to learn and some new project that we're working on, which is really fun.
What does a typical day look like for you, or is that also constantly changing?
Yeah, it's always different, but basically one of the main things I do is I do all the curbside bookings, and then I also do all of the weddings. So last year we did like 150 weddings. So most of my day consists of brides and grooms or partners, and just making sure that their day is really special. And the food portion, which everyone remembers, is perfect. So. Yeah.
That's so fun. Then you get to deal with all the excited people who are having
Yeah.
amazing events.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, every event I do includes all our on-site teams. So we have about like 40 or 50 on-site staff, like servers that work for us. So all the events that I do here consist of them or our curbside team. So it's really fun, and there's always something different or exciting going on. Or we do large events like an NHL event or things like that. So it's a fun time.
If you could take Capella Catering anywhere in the world, where would you want to take it?
Oh, it's a hard one. Anywhere would be fun. I mean, we used to do other events in Calgary. We used to do something for the Stampede, and that was super fun. So I think anywhere really, like anywhere in Canada would be super awesome. Like, it's nice to keep a Canadian brand and pay special thanks to all of our Canadian suppliers and everyone that we work with, all of our local people. So I think anywhere in Canada would be awesome. So yeah.
And then last question,
Yeah.
doesn't have to be specific to your work, but what would
Okay.
you say is the best piece of advice you've received throughout your life?
Oh, that's a good one. I hear lots of different advice, especially dealing with a lot of brides and grooms. But I think the biggest thing, is just to be kind, and it doesn't take much to be nice. And it's just doing the little things for people, and those are the things that they really remember. And we really base, especially our clients here, are just repeat clients, and just doing those extra little things that take it an extra mile for them. Yeah.
Thank you very
Yeah.
much.
Thanks so much. It was nice meeting you.
What I have prepared for everyone here today is our Montreal smoked meat. So, as you can see, nice and tender. Look at this. There you are. There you go. So, the pastrami, or Montreal smoked meat, as we call it here, has that distinctive pink color, and that's from the brine that we do. But it's a labor of love. It gets slow brine for about 2 weeks. I kind of depend,
Wow.
and also injected just to make sure all that brine gets right into the center.
How do you work every day and not eat everything?
Yeah, it's at 6 years.
Oh yeah, fair enough.
But you still gotta taste it and everything. Yep. There we are.
Oh my gosh, this is so good. You're just gonna hear me chomping.